Great to be joined today by Lance Homer, who's the head of payments and banking ecosystem at Equinix. Lance, great chatting to you. Look, I want to talk to you today about the BIS FSB report into cross-border payments and the challenges there. The stage 2 report that is being reported into G20 that was released recently and feeding into this stage 3 where they're going to look now at the solutionizing and solving some of these problems. But this report, Lance, as you know, it highlighted 19 particular pillars of interest and that have to be tackled to solve some of these problems. So I want to ask you straight up, Lance, what do you see as being the standout issues that you're considering and focusing on yourself?
Sure. Well, John, thanks for having me on today. Good to speak with you. Certainly it was an interesting report to look through. And from my perspective, pillar number 13 is the one which is pursuing interlink of payment systems, is the one that stood out to me, simply because that's the one that Equinix has the greatest visibility into from what our customers are trying to accomplish inside of our data centers.
Great. And from the Equinix perspective then, what do you see as being the way forward, and how can you help your clients and those in the ecosystem who are trying to work out this piece of the connectivity and how they're going to get efficiencies and scale and so forth?
What we're seeing is they're trying to facilitate cross-border payments at a broader adoption than it has been previously. And what we're seeing is that commerce is really increasingly interconnected globally. We're seeing a rise in the need for cross-border payments, whether it's B2B, B2C, or P2P. And then we're also seeing kind of the push payments going out for the gig economy. And so not only do we have these kind of traditional players in the financial ecosystem that sit inside of our data centers who are there to do the traditional plumbing of interconnection between themselves in a market or region, but they're connecting the players in different geographies that are being innovative, the fintechs, the enterprises, even the cloud service providers who sit inside of Australia, Hong Kong, Singapore, US, Europe, all over the world. And so Equinix customers, they're deploying these payment hubs inside of Equinix to connect to various rail systems. And what we really kind of see with this pursuit of the interlinking of payment systems is a rise in the number of companies who are trying to create a global payments as a service platform to connect to the various rail systems, whether they be the domestic real-time payment rails in a market or connect to the credit debit or any of the other rails that may exist for cross-border payments like a SWIFT from in the markets which Equinix serves. And in these payment hubs, they're establishing a centralized point where they can do the functions of compute that are necessary for payments, whether it's fraud screening, AML, transaction processing, etc. And so what we're seeing here is as real-time payments becomes more widely adopted, and we're in, I don't know if the count is 60 to 70 countries globally, moving to the ISO 20022 standard, that messaging layer is being solved for. And I think what we're seeing here is the BIS report saying, okay, let's look at this from the regulatory and getting people on board of how do we interlink these, and the messaging layers there. But from Equinix perspective, there is a physical infrastructure layer that still is necessary that the BIS market infrastructure providers need to be looking at in order to make sure that in the end game, they end up with the infrastructure that will help really solve problems that they're trying to accomplish in the beginning.
Great. Look, Lance, that's fantastic synopsis. And I think absolutely to your point, solving it at that wholesale level and bringing the industry together closer together in a secure way, I think that's got to be key to helping this problem. So great to hear from you again, Lance, and we'll look forward to continuing this discussion as we move through this year and October when they release the next stage of this report. So thank you again for chatting today.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.